Welcome back to the Comic Book Bullies. There's New Bully, me host Leroy, aka If Young Metro Don't Trust You, I'm Gonna Shoot You, with my co-host.
Okay, sure. Yeah, this is Eli, aka Chocolate Caramel Candy Admiral Akbar.
Nice. Why did I think you were about to say Chocolate Thunder for some reason? I was like, what?
Chocolate Rain.
Right. Chocolate Rain. Go back to those old lyrics. That's like the wokest song of all time. People don't even know that, but we're not going to talk about that right now. Anyway, we can talk about this show. We got a whole bunch of show to give you on this show. We're just going to start with it. First thing, want to say good morning to, and yes, I'm bringing this segment back, to Ming-Na Wen and Ming-Na Wen only. Now, why are we talking about, even though I said I'm going to drop the subject, why am I doing this again? Because she got her Walk of Fame on Hollywood. So I'm like, cool. Because
Cool.
she's an awesome actress. She deserves it. Like I said, she's been in everything you can think of. She's been Mulan, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. She's been in Star Wars. I didn't get Street Fighter, but she was in Chun-Li in Street Fighter.
Oh,
And
that's
probably,
right.
probably some other stuff I'm forgetting about also. But Joy Luck Club, we can name all this stuff like that.
No, that wasn't her. That was Kelly Hughes. Sorry. I got her mixed up with somebody else. Sorry.
Anyway, but now here's the thing, Eli. You know, I always talk about Ming-Na Wen on here, but here's the thing. Ming-Na Wen is one of my favorite Hollywood people out there. There's a reason, though. There's a reason. So we had an interaction. We had a moment with each other.
Oh, no shit. You guys made eye contact?
We had an unspoken understanding. Over on Twitter.
On Twitter. Oh, so you didn't make eye contact.
No, we didn't make eye contact. But we metaphorically we made eye contact. Anyway, on Twitter, what she did, and I had to actually duck up the tweet what she did. She retweeted me. Not only did she retweeted me, she gave me like 100 followers by retweeting me. And this is the retweet. The tweet that she retweeted, I pulled it up. So
that's a mouthful.
Yeah, the retweet that she retweeted. Yeah. So this is the one. I see you can think if I could read it. For you, and I did this on Street Fighter's 20th anniversary, like the movie 20th anniversary. And I said, for you, today marks the 20th anniversary on Street Fighter, the movie. But for me, it was Tuesday. And it was on a Tuesday.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah, so she laughed. She like love emoji, whatever it, retweeted it. I got like a whole bunch of comments and follows like that. I'm like, okay, she's cool as hell. Okay, cool. So I like anything she does, I'm supporting after that. So she on the Walk of Fame, I'm supporting it. Let's see.
All right, Jake's already in the house.
Let's see what Jake got.
Eli,
that was
she said. Did she say Eli?
Oh, Eli.
Well, she's cool as hell. Yeah, she's
right now. She's my favorite, but you're her favorite podcast. Like, what kind of shit is that? Oh yeah. And maybe I say, and also, like I said, this is June, so you know what June is? Black Music Month. So yeah.
Oh, okay. And Pride Month. Damn, it's like all the minorities month, huh?
It said they just jump it all in June. Just be done with it. Yeah.
Pride Month. Was it June 2nd? Was Native American citizenship anniversary? Like when they decide. Yeah, it's like the date back in 1960 or whatever the fuck it was, where they said we can be citizens of our own country.
Well, nice. You were here first, but now you're allowed to be a citizen. So, yeah. So that's that. But I didn't know that. And not on that, Juneteenth is not only it's a paid holiday. I was pissed last week because I took a vacation last week, not knowing that Juneteenth was a paid holiday. When I could have worked that day and got time and a half, so I'm like, fuck you, Trump, for recognizing slavery as. What's Black Music Month? What is Black Music Month, Jake? That is a good question. Black Music Month is a thing since I was a kid. It's a thing on June where you celebrate Black music. I don't know how else to explain it other than that. Yeah, you just celebrate just Black music and Black musicians. So what I'm going to do,
like Chocolate Rain.
Like Chocolate Rain, yeah. It's in there. So Eli's already observing it.
Yeah.
You know? So like I said, since that, I'm going to name my top 5 rappers of all time on here because of Black Music Month.
Oh, can I?
Dylon, and Dylon. It's an old joke. I don't care. Dave Chappelle is still a classic. Old. It hasn't aged, but yeah, go for it, Eli. You can name yours. I'll name mine next week, like the real ones.
I need to think about this. So I'll do it next
week.
Next week on the spot.
List. We're gonna list. I'll put you on the spot because I want you to just name.
But yeah, I'm sure Method Man. I
can't name the top 5 Wu-Tang members.
I know. I gotta pick one Wu-Tang member, and that's gonna take me a while.
Like who the top 5 Wu-Tang members? Them. Let's go.
I'm sure Nas is on there somewhere, and then
categorize it. You can't have any white rappers. I don't have anything against white rappers, but it is Black Music Month. So for this month alone, you can't include white rappers. I'm just saying. July, add all the white rappers you want. I don't care. Vanilla Ice, Macklemore, go for it. Go nuts.
Search.
Right. MC Search. Snow. I don't even know if that's a real person. I just named somebody for all time. Tupac, Machiavelli, Tupac Shakur. Yeah, all of them. What do we got here? No Jack Harlow.
Who is this Jack? I'm so out of it. I don't even know who Jack Harlow is.
He's after your time. Don't worry about it.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. He's after my time. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. If I'm naming all these 90s rappers and shit on my list and shit.
All right. So anyway, let's get to the podcast. Like I said, we got to talk about it because a whole bunch of stuff had dropped this week. Actually, no, nothing dropped this week. Just one thing dropped this week, and we're going to talk about it. But before we talk about it, you're gonna do us a favor, Eli. Can we bring back the classic? Give us what is the number 1 movie of the week?
Oh, Spider-Man.
Spider-Man does whatever a spider can. Yep.
Nobody knows who you are.
Now, here's the funny thing about this. Okay, Across the Spider-Verse is killing it at the movie theater right now. You see, it's at 120 million right now domestically. Here's the thing: the first movie in its totality did 170 million. Domestically, so this movie is killing right now. Apparently, what it is. So, yeah. So, good job on Spider-Man.
Yeah. Well, no one knew. Well, because no one knew how cool the first movie was.
Yeah, it just kind of just snuck up on people. It was just like, and then people looked at it like, oh wait, this movie.
This is awesome. I mean, this is a Spider-Man cartoon when we just had Infinity War or whatever.
We're like right after, and they're like, okay, this is cool. It's different. It's unique. It's stylish. It was awesome. It has a different perspective. You're introducing a new character you never heard before, but actually have been around forever. So it's cool. I like that. So
I saw it like 3 or 4 times. I kept taking people to. I go, you got to see this shit because I loved it. I still love it. It might be my top Spider-Man movie of all time. At least in the
You're
top.
Not mine. I'm sorry. Maybe I'm an old head. I still put the 1 and 2 ahead of it. The Raimi movies.
Raimi, I think.
Now, other than the Raimi movies,
2 would be my second. I sorry, Tom Holland, but
like I said, after the first 2 Raimi movies, put Spider-Man. Everything else is just whatever. Like those 2 movies are my movies.
I still watch the first 2 Raimi movies.
Yeah. So but let's go back to it. Like I said, even though we're talking about Spider-Man, this is a Spider-Verse movie where it's not just about one Spider-Man, but a bunch of Spider-Mans. No Way Home is the best Spider-Man film.
Probably be 3 or 5. Yeah.
No. I'm just don't even put thought into it. You're like, no, it's not.
Well, it is. It's like Endgame. It's just kind of a greatest hits. It's cool, but as a movie, you kind of gotta know shit to get that movie. You know what I mean?
Right. And like it's cool for memorabilia stuff like that. But as for a movie that I rewatch all the time, it doesn't have the rewatchability ability like the first 2 Raimi movies or Spider-Verse. My
kid loves Spider-Verse. She sings the Post Malone song and "What's Up, Danger" and
no white rappers, man. It's black music.
Is Post Malone a rapper? I thought he's like
he thinks he is. He wants to be.
He be playing like guitar and shit. I don't know what the fuck he is.
he raps when he wants to rap, and then he a country singer when he wants a country.
Well, he don't rap on that song, does he? I thought he just sings, right?
I think so. You know what? Okay, we're getting sidetracked for a second because I'm getting pissed off just hearing Post Malone first. First off, Sway Lee made that song popular from Ray Shrumman. Like he is the guy that made it popular. He is the hook guy. He is the first verse guy. He is a song you hear when you hear. Post Malone is just somewhere in the background looking at it, but since Post Malone's name is on it.
Post Malone just sings, but the other guy does the chorus.
Like the other guy makes the song. He sings the chorus. He does the first like the part is Sway Lee.
Yeah.
But since Post Malone name is on it somewhere, it's a Post Malone song. Like, man, fuck out of here, man. Anyway, we're getting sidetracked. We're getting sidetracked.
Well, I'm not. That's the only Post Malone song that I know. So don't at me.
I'm not, man. We're not gonna get into. We're not gonna put Post Malone on the band topics on here like I just put the Arrowverse on here. We're not gonna do that.
We can. I don't need to talk about it.
Okay, Post Malone is going on there. It's going on the band topics on here. It's too emotionally charged. Anyway,
I'll refer it to as the Sunflower song. Then how about that?
Okay, there we go. Let's be politically correct on the show. What were we talking about? Anyway, let's back to Spider-Verse. Okay, like I said, it's a Spider-Man movie, but this is a Spider-Verse movie. So the thing is, we can talk about where the Spider-Verse came from, like the concept of the Spider-Verse. A lot of people want to give credit to Dan Slott back in 2006, 07. What, I don't know when it was. Sometime in the 20s.
Well, I know it was like the 2000. It was not that old, like 2000. Wasn't like Trump in office or some shit? I think it was around Trump. When Trump,
we need a fact check on here. What's AK David when you need him?
Jake, when the Spider.
Yeah, look this shit. You know what? Don't look it up because that don't even matter. Because the thing is, people say this is where the Spider-Verse was invented, but this is not where the Spider-Verse was invented.
The mid 2010s or something was when that comes.
Oh, the 2010. Okay, I thought it was older than that. But here's the thing: that's not where it was invented. This is where the Spider-Verse was invented. That Spider-Man cartoon from the 90s. That became when the Beyonder showed up and all the Spider-Mans showed up like that. That was the concept of the Spider-Verse when it got invented. So nobody wants to give credit to that cartoon. That's when it happened. And the end of the cartoon was pretty awesome. That's when he met Stan Lee in real life. It's kind of like when the comic characters like meet God and shit, and he asked Stan Lee like, "Why am I here?" And Stan Lee gave him some like deep metaphorical shit. Watch the last episode. It's on Disney Plus. Watch it. Awesome. Whole Spider-Verse arc was pretty awesome too. That being said, now we're going to talk about the movie, but we do have to get specific. Like I said, it's a comic book podcast. So we got to give you some comic book, history on stuff like that. For instance,
okay, yeah. Jake says it was 2014.
I thought it was older than that. I really thought it was older than that. Okay.
No, I didn't think it was that. Like, yeah, it's not 20 years old. That's like 20 years old if you're going back to 06 or something.
I get
it's almost 10 years old. Now that I think, God damn.
It's almost 10 years old, which is still pretty fucking old. So yeah. Hell, the first Spider-Verse movie came out 6 years ago.
That's right, it did, didn't it?
Yeah, that's an old ass movie.
That was before the pandemic.
That was before the pandemic. Yeah, that's why it took so long. So yeah. Back on track. So let's talk about this. Let's talk about the concept. Now, we're not gonna talk about the origin of Miles Morales, like he got bit by a spider. We don't give a fuck about that. We're talking about the concept of Miles Morales.
The idea.
The idea, where it permeated from. Like I said, this is Miles Morales, what he looks like. One thing I do like about, we're gonna talk about the movie, but one thing I do like about this movie that he is like physically older in this movie. You tell he's older in this one than he was in the last one, so that's pretty cool. I don't know what I'm about to click right here. What I'm about to click right here. Okay, cool. Yeah. So like I said, you got all this stuff, and damn it, I didn't click it. Anyway, we're gonna keep it going. We got all this stuff about Miles Morales. Like we got comic books, we got video games, we got TV shows, we got movies, we got everything you could think of. But the origin of Miles Morales, all of that came from one thing: an episode of Community where Donald Glover wear a Spider-Man t-shirt. That's where all this shit came from.
Yeah, and that was like in the very beginning of like was it the season premiere or whatever, or was it the Christmas
was season premiere? Yeah.
Yeah, where they're all everyone's just waking up and getting ready to go to school.
They were homage in a different world.
Yeah. Yeah, like a different world.
And is Miles and Peter the same age? No, they're not. No. They're not. Peter is a lot older. He's an adult. Miles is usually a teenager. So.
Yeah. Well, they pretty much invented Miles to basically make Spider-Man a teenager again.
Right. That's one thing. But they made it because this. Like I said, Brian Michael Bendis saw the episode of Community where Donald Glover dressed up as, had a Spider-Man t-shirt on. He was like, that would make it an interesting comic. Now, whether that's revisionist history or not, we don't know. But that's what Brian Michael Bendis said. He saw that, said, let's make a black Spider-Man. Boom, got a black Spider-Man. Because that whole thing came from when that whole Amazing Spider-Man movie came out with what's that dude? Andrew Garfield. They were casting for that role. And just the Twitter, which Twitter wasn't even a big thing at the time, but Twitter was saying, why not Donald Glover? Why don't Donald Glover be Black Peter Parker? Of course, it was a wild idea, but Twitter was so noisy about it. That's why he wore that t-shirt as a shout out to them. Like, I hear y'all. and it just took off from there. It's basically a butterfly effect. It's a domino effect, whatever you want to call it. Like he started from that thing, and now we're here, So just funny that Donald Glover has his hands in so much pop culture. Not just Donald Glover, Community. Community has, so without Community, the comic book movie like scene would be completely different. We're talking Infinity War, Endgame, Civil War,
the Russo brothers came from a Community. They directed some of the best Community episodes.
Right. And they were so good on Community, Marvel had those guys on the spot, run our franchise like that.
Yeah.
They saw Winter Soldier like these are guys. So
yeah.
So it's just crazy. And that's why so many Community people kept popping up in the MCU. Matter of fact, I'm pretty sure wasn't it a Community episode where they like referenced the MCU? Like Abed said, hey, I went here on my summer vacation. I may have like Mandela effect that. I don't know.
They everything. Every Dark Knight. Remember where he was Batman in the Dark Knight? He was trying to solve who broke his DVD and shit.
Right. Just weird shit just happened on that show all the time. So yeah. But like I said, so that's how people are having a connection with Donald Glover, invented Miles. He didn't put the pen to the paper and created this guy. No, he didn't do that. What he did was basically inspired him to become a character. And that's why in Homecoming, he shows up as the Prowler, Uncle Aaron, because basically showing it's a shout out. And to spoil the movie, there's another shout out also because he shows up at the Prowler in that also. So, which was my crowd, like I said, I saw it in theaters, my crowd went crazy for that scene. So, yeah. So, like I said, we're going to talk about the movie, but I just want to run down because the thing is, all those cameos, like it was so many cameos of Spider people in this movie, and you think, oh, they just made those people up. No, damn near everybody in there were people like decades old in the comics. Like this. Let's talk about Spider-Woman fans. I know there's a bunch of Spider-Woman. Let's talk about Jessica Drew Spider-Woman. Now, Jessica Drew Spider-Woman is a thing in the comics.
And pregnant Spider-Woman is a thing.
Pregnant Spider-Woman is a thing that Jessica Drew in the comics. Yes, that's a thing in the comics. So they threw that in. Why was she pregnant? I don't know. I don't even know if she had the baby, yeah. All I know is that she got popular in the 2000 Brian Michael Bendis, where she became like the Skrull Queen because she was a Skrull the whole time. They completely left that shit out of the movie for good reasons, and I'm glad they did, but that's the thing. Now there are some people out there, but the first black Spider-Woman was black, which is true, but not true. It's out of continuity. It was like one of those Spider-Man big stories or some bullshit like that. Some woman just saw Spider-Man dressed up as Spider-Woman and just started being a regular woman, just a Spider-Woman. It's a thing.
The black woman on the cartoon who's kind of spoke in a Jamaican accent.
Which cartoon?
One of the Spider-Man was it wasn't it the 90s cartoon? Maybe. Was that a Mandela effect?
Yeah, I don't even remember a black woman on those 90 cartoons. Yeah.
No, there was a black woman and she kind of spoke like in an accent, like a Jamaican accent. I don't know. You
might think about Amanda Waller. I don't know.
No.
Oh man.
Well, I'm gonna Google that now.
Right.
Jamaican woman on Rastafarian woman on Spider-Man cartoon.
Oh man. Now where we are now. Let's go here. Okay, Mayday Parker, the baby. She's a thing. She has been a thing for like a long time. Yeah. Matter of fact, she is Spider-Girl and like one of those crazy ass alternate universe cartoons. That's the thing we got to talk about these Spider-Man variants, because what Marvel always does is whenever they make like another alternate timeline, out of continuity storyline, like the Ultimate line or the 2099 line or whatever line, they always start it and it always fails. But always one thing sells out of every one of those lines is Spider-Man. So no matter what they do with Spider-Man, Spider-Man will sell. Japanese Spider-Man, it will sell. I'm pissed they didn't have him in the movie because, like I said, that's the inspiration for Power Rangers. So we can go on that. Yeah, what do we got here? Also, we got to talk about my guy. Miguel O'Hara, the Mexican Spider-Man. Gabe hated when I called him the Mexican Spider-Man. He was like, don't call him that. He thought he's half Spanish, half. He's Mexican. Just let it go. He's Mexican. Matter of fact, the skull on his chest is a representation of Day of the Dead because of his Mexican heritage.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, that's why he has the skull on his chest for the Day of the Dead, which is a Mexican holiday. So yeah. Like I said, I have this comic when Spider-Man 2099 dropped. Miguel O'Hara, I dropped it, read it. Awesome comic. It's like I said, futuristic. It's kind of like it was Batman Beyond before Batman Beyond. I almost feel like Batman Beyond saw this comic and be like, let's do that. Let's go, because it's very close together. But the thing is, we got to talk about Miguel O'Hara. Like I said, I love this dude because in this movie, he had Black Force One energy. This dude was just whooping ass left and right. I loved it. They made the Mexican Spider-Man the hardest motherfucker in the multiverse. So love it. What else we got here?
Hey, Carlton was on Spider-Man, the cartoon. He voiced Randy Robertson.
Randy Robinson.
Carlton from Fresh Prince.
Okay.
Alfonso Ribeiro.
Okay. Was it Randy Robinson or Robbie Robinson?
It says Randy.
Gotcha. So Robbie was the guy that worked at the Daily Bugle. Randy
so this must be his son or something.
Yeah. Okay. Wait. So
Mark Hamill was the Hobgoblin. I did not know that.
He's not a bad guy, Jake. He's a antagonist. It's a difference. So they have a bad guy in the show, but it wasn't him. But he definitely was on opposite ends of what they were trying to do, and he thought he was right. So from his point of view, he was the good guy. If that makes any sense. Oh, we got to talk about Ben Reilly. Ben Reilly was very quickly in and out of that. He was pretty much a joke. He was just like, I'm so 90s, it hurts, But it was cool. Like I said, it's just cool that Ben Reilly was into the Scarlet Spider. So he has a long history. Matter of fact, he kind of hate him because he kind of killed Spider-Man comics in the 90s, but I'm just glad he was in there, Now, can we actually talk about the movie?
Go, yeah, man.
Let's talk about the movie. Okay. Like I said, first thing I want to talk about this movie is the animation. The animation was beautiful, next level. Like whatever you thought about the first movie, the animation, the first movie, this one is on the next level. This one shits on the first movie animation. To me, it feels like whatever people thought of Akira in the 90s, this is that. This moves the needle. This is next level. Like if I was just graded right now just on the animation, because every frame of this movie, if you just freeze frame it, pause it like that, it's a poster. Stick it on the wall, it's ready to go. Because it's just that beautiful. In motion, it's there, just the way it moves. Like just on animation alone, this movie is a 6.5 out of 5. Like I'm just thinking that right now. Just if I was just on that by itself.
Oh yeah, it was dazzling.
Yes, it was eye candy. Just the way everything's like, ooh, it's so beautiful, man. Like if I worked for Pixar and I saw this movie, I would really rethink like, what the fuck have I been doing with my life like the last 10 years? Like put the cocaine and hookers down, man. Pick up a pen.
If you were on acid or shrooms, you would have like busted.
This movie would kill you. No, like don't because that's one thing about the movie. There are so many just bright colors just thrown at you and shit like that. So yeah, if you're sensitive to light, this might not be the movie for you.
Yeah, there were sequences where I was like, okay. Yeah, there was some strobe effects that were like kind of like getting to me.
Yeah, like I said,
but took some getting used to, but yeah.
So, like I said, if you can handle that, you're fine. But yeah, like I said, it was so much stuff they were throwing at you. I loved it, just the animation of it and the characters they had, like the Spider character had. Like I said, we just named some of the Spider characters. Your boy Eli, almost stole the whole movie.
My boy,
Spider-Punk.
Yeah,
almost stole the whole movie.
Sure, I guess.
Yeah, I loved it, and he was so integral to the plot. Yeah, I didn't even pay attention to that. He was integral to the whole plot of it. Like they couldn't even get done without him.
No, he was kind of like the hero in the end, kind of, sort of.
Yeah, like he was the hero in the beginning. Like the stuff he was saying, that was cool.
Well, spoilers.
Yeah.
He gave Gwen the watch or whatever.
He gave Gwen the watch. Yeah. Matter of fact, he even put the idea in Miles' head, like these might not be the guys you want to hang around with, because he's anti-establishment and all this shit like that, So I did like it when he picked up May.
He's all into anarchy and chaos.
Yeah, I did like when he picked up May after May like shit on the floor. You shit on the establishment. Respect. I like that shit. Like I said, the movie is funny also. It's just like clever lines is going through it all the time like that. So yeah. And the thing is, like, all the characters in here had personality, even though they probably, because so many characters, they didn't have as much screen time as the other characters like Spider-Man Noir and Spider-Man like that. Everybody was more fleshed out. Everybody had more personality in this one. Like Spider-Ham felt like a gimmick. Like Noir was a one-note gimmick. They were cool. But even Ben Reilly felt fleshed like you got Ben Reilly, you got Spider-Punk, you got Spider-Man India. I'm trying to think who else popped up in it. You got Spider-Man 2099. You completely got where you go, like why he's the hardcore Spider-Man that don't joke. You get it, So everybody just pops on screen. Spider Bite You know, you even get her, you understand her.
The Lego
So
Spider-Man and shit.
Lego Spider-Man shows up in it for like no reason whatsoever. They're like, he's my best agent, you know, stuff like that. Spider-Man 60 shows up, you know.
Oh yeah, dun, 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 dun. Yeah.
It's like trying to chase after Miles. He
Yeah,
just like
he
walks
came
right
swinging
past him.
in like the intro. Yeah, I mean, yeah.
And that's the thing about the movie. Like, if you're a Spider-Man fan, the movie is almost sensory overload. It's almost like Ready Player One, but for Spider-Man. You know,
Oh yeah,
because they just throwing just so much spider shit at you. But
Well,
they do it in a way.
Yeah, it's Lord and Miller, and they did the Lego movie, which is basically the same shit, only with pop culture and Warner Brothers shit, you know.
Yeah,
and this was only them doing that only with Spider-Man and Marvel and just comics in general and just all the pop culture references and, you know, yeah, it was like just constant, just you're being bombarded with Easter eggs, you know.
Right, but they knew how to do it and when not to do it, because okay, when it's just walking down the scene, okay, you're just like, okay, spider people all over the place. When they actually get to the plot and exposition, it's just the main people that matters. But then when they go back to the scene, now they throwing more spider people back at you. So they knew when to bombard you, when not to bombard you. So I did like that, you know. The spider buggy, and they named it Peter Parked Car. I like that. That's clever. That's clever. But it's the fact that they put spider buggy in there, you know. I never heard of web slinger. I don't know if that's a thing they might have. And it made me think, oh, this is from 1980, blah blah blah. Because, like I said, they were just pulling shit out their ass. Future Foundation Spider-Man had like a quick cameo, like a lab coat, all white and shit like that. I like this Future Foundation Spider-Man. Baghead Spider-Man was in this. I like, the fuck. Like, no, go back to Baghead Spider-Man, because that's a thing. When his costume got torched, and Human Torch was like laughing at him, so he like put a bag on his head, gave him a Fantastic Four costume, and like, get the fuck out of here. You know, it was a joke, but the fact they put that in there, I thought it was funny. You know, oh, so yeah, they kept throwing stuff at you. Like I said, the animation was awesome. The storyline was pretty good. Oh, here's the thing: the storyline, if you know multiverse bullshits like that, the storyline actually was kind of predictable. You kind of saw it coming, but the execution of it is what matters. You know, you still felt it towards the end. You still felt, you know, because they put every Uncle Ben death scene they ever made on screen at one time. I'm like, damn, really? All of them? Like, all of them. Like the comics, all the movies, like both movies. Spectacular Spider-Man cartoon was in there. Matter of fact, Spectacular Spider-Man even showed up. People were like, Miles, don't do it. Like, is he gonna whoop his ass? Like, I would have felt bad because I love that cartoon. Like, I don't want him to get mixed in this shit. Spider-Man PS4 was in it just for no reason, just showed up, you know. Soundtrack was absolutely banging. I gotta talk about that. I gotta talk about the soundtrack. Here's the thing. India Spider-Man was a bump. Yes, I love it. And you know what's fucked up about it? Like when Spider-Man India was there, and when he saved his girlfriend and the captain, in my mind, I was thinking like, hold up. I read too many Spider-Man comics that this shit isn't supposed to go this way. Like, because that's the whole point of being Spider-Man, is that your life is fucked up. Everything's going too well.
Yeah. And
that is a plot point. You know, it came back around. I'm like, oh, okay. I'm not tripping on this. That makes sense. So, as far as the soundtrack, Jake, it was good, but a step down from the last one. Here's the thing. I like Metro Boomin. Metro Boomin is cool in certain doses. I'm not like the biggest Metro Boomin fan. I think I'm too old for Metro Boomin. So this soundtrack didn't have that banger. It didn't have that Sway Lee song.
Actually, let's see.
It didn't have "What's Up, Danger." You know, you get stuck in your head. It didn't have a song like that.
What about,
you know,
this?
Ain't no love in heart of the city. Do. First the fat boys break up. Now everybody wake up. Somebody got a problem with Hove.
Now that's a banger.
That's a banger. Yeah. So in my mind, I felt like the Metro Boomin tracks kind of bled together too much, where it was cool and it set the mood and it set a vibe, but there was no standout song where the song just stopped. Because What's Up, Danger, the movie felt like it just stopped. Just like, okay, this is the moment.
Yeah.
And I don't feel like this movie had that.
Yes, I will agree with that. Yes, I will totally agree with that. Because
I understand.
I don't throw this word around that much.
Yeah.
But What's Up, Danger is like iconic now.
It is like What's Up, Danger
that scene of him flying upward. He's falling, but he's falling upward. You know, and that.
Yeah. That felt like a monumental scene in cinema. Like, we not just superhero movies, Spider-Man movies, cinema. When he a young kid discovering his potential. Like it hits you, you know.
Oh yeah, every
but
time in the theater, even when I watch it, I get chills, even at home. But yeah, like I said, I saw that shit like 4 or 5 times in the theater, and like every time I like got the goosebumps because that was
Right.
great.
Like it's a scene, like if you like what's that scene in this movie, you can just fast forward right to What's Up Danger, just go to that, you know. So like I said, so yeah, so Metro Boomin was cool, but it was a letdown. But like I said, they gotta have a name because it was promotional, was marketing. You had Lil Wayne in a Spider-Man costume and Nas in a Spider-Man costume because on the soundtrack, and that's cool, you know. But as far as like, I felt like the more indie tracks, more experimental tracks from the first one, I felt it hit harder than just let's just get like
There's a
the
Nas
big
song on
name.
there?
Yeah,
like a new Nas one.
Yeah,
I haven't listened to the soundtrack yet.
I listened to it and I was like, it's cool. Like I say, I think Metro Boomin is not for me. He's cool, but it's not like I don't want to listen to Metro Boomin. That's not me, you know. So, that's
for
my
the
thing.
kids, for the kids.
Pretty much, yeah. And you know what? And the kids may love this. Jake may love this. They may be a What's Up Danger, you know, for the kids on here. That like, well, it just may not be mine, but they could be like, oh, that's that song that jumps out to it. This is cinema, you know, when 21
like
Savage
the
song, shit,
the song is actually a character in the movie, like What's Up Danger. That's a character in the movie,
right? Yeah. Where they didn't really just do that, you know. Like I said, small nitpicking knock on the movie. That's, you know, it's a knock, but it's not a big knock. But I do have to admit that, you know, I have to name that. Trying to think of what else. Yeah, that's pretty. Oh, I do want to talk a little bit more about Spider-Man 2099, the Mexican Spider-Man. Because one thing I did notice about him, his whole thing, like I said, he wasn't a villain per se. But Eli, was it me or did some of the stuff he was saying was very like reminiscent of Kingpin? YouTube assholes saying like,
oh no, that was totally there.
Okay. I thought I was tripping for a second. Okay.
No, I know what you're talking about. And that's one of the things I liked. That's one of the big things I liked about this.
Yeah. They did it, but they didn't throw it in your face because they gave us some science fiction in continuity mumbo jumbo for why he's saying that. But when he's saying it, you know why he's saying it.
Oh, yeah.
Because he's mimicking those guys.
Yeah. I totally caught the underlying theme.
Yeah. Because basically what he's saying, you're not Spider-Man. You're Miles Morales, pretend to be Spider-Man. And it's the same thing these assholes saying. I've seen the tweets and stuff like that. I'm going to go see the new Spider-Man movie starring Miles Morales. Because in their mind, they don't call Miles Morales Spider-Man. They say Peter Parker Spider-Man, Miles Morales is Miles Morales. You know? Yeah. Which is weird because this movie and the movie before this showed like thousands of Spider people. Mm-hmm. So why are you tripping on the black one being called Spider-Man? Why should that matter?
Yeah.
If you got all these other motherfuckers called Spider-Man. Did anybody have a problem with Ben Reilly being called Spider-Man? No. Anybody have a problem with Dr. Octopus being called Spider-Man when he took over Peter Parker's body? No. But when the black one becomes Spider-Man, now it's an issue. Why don't they call him another name? Why don't they call him the Arachnid Kid or some bullshit like that? You're like no, he's Spider-Man. You have multiple Flash, Shiz. You have multiple Green Lanterns. Everybody loves John Stewart. He is nowhere near the first Green Lantern, you know. So why can't you have multiple Spider-Man? This movie proves that you can have multiple Spider-Man because everybody can have their own Spider-Man that does this, that does that. You know, there probably some more they'll invent down the road, and everybody can have their own personality. You know, Peter's just one aspect of it, and you know, and we all still love Peter. Like it doesn't replace Peter.
No,
hell, he's in the movie. Like the hell. So I don't know what everybody tripping about. It ain't like they just made Peter Parker black. Now if they made Peter Parker black and just said Spider-Man, I get it. I would understand why people would be upset about that. But Miles is his own character. Yeah. He has his own personality. You put him next to Peter Parker, they are two different people. He has different powers. He has a different suit. He has different friends. He has different enemies. So he's a character unto his own. That's why he works. So all these people that want to complain about this shit, like maybe they're just doing it for clickbait, or maybe they really feel that way. I don't know. But I think it's kind of dumb to even say some shit like that, you know.
Well, yeah, I mean, and that was totally what I got out of Miguel was saying, that don't mess with the canon. You know, that's comic book fans. The story has to be this way. If it's not this way, then it sucks. You know, they're always, you know how comic fans are. You know, they want change, but they don't want change. You change something up, they bitch about it. And
And let's talk about Miguel O'Hara for a second. Miguel O'Hara, oh, not Spider Chick. Right here. Okay, Miguel O'Hara existed back in the 90s. We had a Mexican Spider-Man back in the 90s. And nobody cared. Nobody tripped. Nobody said anything. Nobody, no petitions, nothing like that. We loved him. We thought he was awesome, and we moved on with it. So this isn't the first time they've done stuff like this. They had a Japanese Spider-Man back in the 70s. So, and we loved it. So where are these assholes coming from complaining about it now?
Yeah, but I think that's what he was. Miguel was like, what's the energy? It's like a shock, electricity.
He has black people powers. Every black superhero has lightning powers. So there you go.
Electricity, yeah.
Yeah.
But no, Miguel basically represented that toxic fan base.
Yeah.
Of, don't fuck with the stories. This is how it goes. And Miles is like, no, I'm gonna be my own superhero. I don't have to follow, everybody else's your
story.
rules.
Right.
And I think it's funny that we shout out to This Geek in Comics. We kind of mentioned that, talking about how Spider-Man works as an adolescent, as a kid,
right.
A teenager. That's the essence of Spider-Man, is a kid who never catches a break. Right. He's a teenager with all these pressures and juggling all these responsibilities between school and his relationships with his friends and Aunt May or his aunt or whoever. And then he's got to deal with, fighting supervillains. That's the essence of Spider-Man, a kid who's constantly over his head. Right. And that works as a kid. We all relate to it as a kid, as a teenager, because, you're trying to find who you are. But Spider-Man as an adult,
still fucking up.
And that's why that was so funny about the first movie.
Right, and people were getting upset about that. Like, no, if Peter was a fuck up and he never got his shit together, this what he would be.
Yes. If the essence of Spider-Man is a guy who can never catch a break, well, then he'd be a total loser. And that's what was funny about the first movie.
Right.
He's overweight.
People were upset about that, but that would be the ultimate conclusion of what it would be.
Yeah, he's overweight. Him and MJ got divorced. He's sad. He's depressed. It was kind of funny because Spider-Man's he's kind of a loser. And we were Gomer and the guys on This Geeks and Comics. We were talking about Spider-Man works as a teen.
Right.
As an adult, he's kind of sad.
Yeah, because he's a fuck up. It's not cool when you in your 30s still a fuck up.
Yeah.
Still living with your aunt? Like, come on, man. Really?
A middle-aged 40-year-old loser is kind of sad.
Yeah, divorced and shit. Come on, man.
Yeah.
So,
but that's what that's why Miles was a breath of fresh air, because he was Spider-Man was a kid again. He was a teenager
and you can tell
again.
that story for a newer generation.
Yes.
Spider-Man no longer has to be a nerd. That's one difference between Miles and Peter. Peter was a nerd when he's growing up. Miles can be smart and a genius and still be and have social skills. Cool. Yeah. Have friends. He didn't have to be a complete loser back in school or a nerd or anything like that. No, he can still be cool, be in the nerd, be in the anime, be in the comics, be in the sci-fi shit like that, and still have friends. Where Peter couldn't do that because back in the 60s, that just wasn't shit you could do.
You got your ass whooped. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So he can play video games and still be cool. You're one of the cool kids in school.
Yeah, being a nerd is fashionable now. Not like when we were a kid.
Right.
We can't there was no Spider-Man shirts at Target.
You couldn't name the members of the Avengers back then.
Will Smith's kid who went to prom dressed as Batman. We would have got our asses whooped.
You would have got your ass beat before you even got it. Right. You couldn't get away with that shit then. So like I said, it's a different time, and now Miles adapts to generation. So that's why Peter and Miles can't coexist, because of the different time. Like, you can have an adult Spider-Man going through adult problems and teenage Spider-Man going through teenage problems, because you can't revert Peter back to teenage. They try to do that shit, it doesn't work. He's gone through it already. So you got to have his adult problem. You got to keep divorcing Mary Jane every other Tuesday and shit, so, or whatever he's doing.
Or have her disappear for 4 years and bang some other guy.
Right. Y'all really putting the screws to Peter just for no reason.
He's just constantly gotta just suffer.
Right. So
at one point it's like, come on, Pete, get your shit together. Like, you're Spider-Man, goddammit.
You can't keep blaming him. Like,
you're Spider-Man.
You should have figured this Peter Spider-Man shit out by now. You've been doing this shit for like 20 years or whatever the fuck you've been doing it for. since you were 16 and you're like 35 now. You should have figured the shit out by now.
Yeah.
So
that's kind of what, what Miguel was. He was just, a metaphor for just shitty fans who bitch about shit and don't want change and are resistant to, yes, Miles Morales becoming a Spider-Man and, ruining everything, ruining their childhood and all that bullshit that they love to bitch about.
He's not a part of the canon and all this shit like that.
Yeah, fuck the canon. That's what I know. People, I don't give a fuck. Fuck the canon.
They literally call it canon in the movie too.
Yeah, they call it canon. I was like, fuck it, this is like, oh yeah, a new Batman. I thought that so and so happened back in the 80s. No one's reading that shit anymore.
Right.
So and so did this in the 80s. This story sucks. Like, yeah, it ain't the 80s no more, man.
Right, before most of the reader base was even born, they done bringing some 80s Batman shit. So yeah, so that being said, can I bring up a criticism of the movie?
Go ahead.
Other than Metro Boomin. Okay. The fact that the movie ends on a cliffhanger. That's
my biggest.
That's the biggest thing.
That's my biggest.
That's the biggest thing because here's the thing. Now I knew going in the movie was going to be a cliffhanger. They already announced part 2 before the pandemic even hit. They were like, we're splitting up in 2 movies, stuff like that. Yeah. My problem is I don't think they knew how to end it. I think they were trying to figure out, and it felt like for the last 20 minutes or maybe 15 minutes of the movie, like the movie was trying to figure out how to end and where to stop, but it didn't know where to stop. And it felt like it was just dwindling down to a conclusion where you had it where they was in 2099 and going through, the dystopian Blade Runner future. The movie was at, peak spider verseness.
It was basically the Back to the Future part 2 scene where he goes and this ain't my universe,
Right.
Right in the last 5 minutes of the movie. And you're like, okay, this is kind of interesting and I'm kind of into this. And that's it,
Right. And that's what I was talking about. Like, you can kind of predict it because I honestly, as soon as his mother said, "What's Spider-Man?" I like, oh shit, he's in the wrong universe. I knew it right then.
Yeah. So
I kind of knew where it was going, but I still was interested in watching it play out. But the thing was, but I will say, it's not as egregious as Fast and the Furious, because that movie just stopped. Like it just stopped, like for no reason. Like what the fuck? So, but I can't compare Fast and the Furious to real movies. It's its own thing. But Spider-Verse, because the movie was so good, I gotta hold it to a higher standard. I gotta hold it to movie standards. Now, we'll give it credit. Yeah.
I have a few gripes, but I kind of forgive it because the movie is so fucking awesome or whatever.
Right, because the highs are so high. That's
like it's so visually stunning. You kind of forgive the shortcomings. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I have a couple, but.
And plus, the story structure wise, the movie did. Yeah. It did begin with Gwen, and it ended with Gwen. So it was a bookend with Gwen.
Yeah.
So I did like that. Gripe. So they did have story structure. Because a lot of people saying, because when I complained about this online, I was like, I didn't like how the movie just ended. Well, you loved Infinity War. Like, it's not the same thing. It's not the. Go for it. Go ahead. I want to see what you guys say about this because I don't think it's the same thing.
Yeah, I think the story, like what you said, they didn't know how to end it. I think the story structure got a little murky, especially in the second act. Yeah. Now, you're right. It starts with Gwen and it ends with Gwen, but Miles, if you're a fan of Miles, he kind of gets shoved in the back seat for a lot of the movie.
Right.
Like,
and honestly, during the beginning of the movie, I was like, I like Gwen. Gwen is cool, but where is Miles?
Yeah.
I'm itching to get to Miles.
Yeah, that was my issue with the first movie. Is like, we get a Miles Morales movie, but they also throw a bunch of other Spider-Man in. It's like they don't trust Miles to lead his own movie, and they really didn't trust him in this one. So that's my biggest beef with this movie. Is like Miles kind of got shoved to the back seat. So we can tell Gwen's story and all this other and shove all these like, come on, can't Miles lead his own movie? You got to shove all these it's like the first Black Spider-Man and you got to shove all these other motherfuckers.
Right. It's kind of like when Disney promoted, The Princess and the Frog, the first Black Disney princess, and 95% of the movie, she was a frog. So what the fuck was that?
I never saw that, but
that shit
pissed. I mean, the Spot, the character Spot, he just like disappears after a while.
Right, and I'm cool with that. I kind of like what they did with Spot, I'm gonna see if I can. Yeah, I like what they did with Spot because, like I said, he is just he's always been a joke character. He's basically one step above Condiment King.
But he was Miles' arch villain.
Yeah.
And then he kind of disappears to discover this other world.
Well, because Miles didn't take him seriously. And for people that don't know who Spot is, you probably seen this meme. This is the Spot. This is the only thing he's known for, you know. But they decided to make it go. But I kind of like how they did it because, like I said, Miles didn't take him seriously. And the more the movie went on, he's like, no, you're going to take me seriously. It's almost Miles' journey.
Yeah.
Despite the people aren't taking him seriously, no, you're going to take me seriously.
Yeah. But I feel like the same themes of the first movie were kind of rehashed in this one. It's Miles trying to prove himself to the other spider people.
Yeah.
Trying to, like, you know, I'm not good enough. I don't have enough experience. That was all the shit we already got over in the first movie. I felt like they were rehashing it with this one. He's like
I disagree. I disagree. To a point, but I disagree because in the first movie, he was unsure of himself. Like, not only was he trying to prove himself to the spider people, trying to prove himself to himself. In this one, he's fully confident of himself.
Yeah, but he's still like trying to fit in with the other spider corporation or whatever.
Right, but at the same time, I think he learned not to fit in. I think that was kind of like the whole arc of that. Yeah,
that was He ends up I'm who I am. I'm going to do what I want.
Like I don't need your.
I'm the anomaly. Yeah, there was that sort of Matrix, sort of reference where he's the glitch in the system. He's the anomaly because his spider, spoilers, came from another universe and he wasn't supposed to get bit, and that fucked up the system and all that Matrix sort of
Yeah.
That's why
honestly that timey-wimey bullshit. I was like, that's cool, but whatever. Get to the story.
Yeah. But
make up whatever bullshit you want. Yeah.
But as far as like the ending, like when they revealed that Uncle Aaron was alive and that there's an evil Miles, that was like, holy shit. That's the conflict now. That's the movie we want.
You got Miles versus Miles. Yeah.
Yes, and now it's at the end. I felt like, okay, this is where the movie, because it was, the first half hour is all about Gwen, and then Miles kind of discovers all these other spider people. And then at the end, here's his conflict, So I don't really want to compare it to like Infinity War or Kill Bill or Empire Strikes Back because those movies had
worked on their own. They worked on their own.
They were, Infinity War, yes, it was a cliffhanger, but there was a big ass battle. The good guys just lost it. They lost the battle. That's all it was. You know?
Infinity War works if you imagine that Thanos is the hero.
Yeah.
If you imagine Thanos is the hero, the movie works on his own.
But it was still a full movie, a full structure of a big climactic battle that didn't go in the good guy's favor. Same thing with Empire Strikes Back. Luke faces Vader and loses.
They keep telling him the whole time, you're not ready, you're not ready, you're not ready. But in our mind, we think, well, he's the hero, he has to win. No.
And he wasn't ready.
It doesn't.
And then it's a cliffhanger, but it had closure at the end.
It was a full conclusion.
Kill Bill Volume 1. She cuts all those the crazy 88s or whatever. She cuts them all to pieces and then has a duel
and then beat the boss of the crazy 88.
And then beats the boss. I mean, and then there's her kid's still alive. Then there's that little
It wasn't like right before she fought Lucy Liu, the movie cut off. They didn't do that. That would have fucked that movie up.
I just felt like there wasn't enough Miles plot to warrant that ending. I thought, this is the movie now. This is Miles' movie now.
Right.
And then it ended. And I was like, what? So that's my biggest complaint, but it was still an awesome movie. I still had a blast watching it,
Right. Like I said, eye candy, all the spider people showing up, and it was enough Miles in it. I do feel like this movie had more Miles in it than the last movie did. Because after you got book ends with Gwen on the end, book Gwen in the middle, it was Michael. Like I said, you got a chance to meet his family, have conflict with his family, talk about his family, stuff like that, before he jumps in the multiverse and start meeting spider people left, right, people. But before then, it was about Miles and his conflict with his parents and what he plans to do. And basically growing up. I think they did have more of that than they had in the first movie. So I do give the movie credit for that. So
I mean, those human moments are great. I mean, when the movie stops being all coming at you,
Right.
and you get to have those human moments. Those are great. Yeah, the conversation with his mom, the party scene when he had the cakes, and that shit was funny.
And then he fucked up the cake. What it said? I'm not proud of you, or some shit.
Or
He said,
something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and I gotta say it because we gotta say it. They turned his mom into a Pixar mom. I gotta just say it. I gotta put it out there. So
I don't know.
It's
what that
noticeable.
Is, but okay.
It's noticeable. Jake knows what I'm talking about.
Is this some research you guys been doing?
No research like that. His mom is fine. That's all I'm saying. He got a fine mom on it. They basically milfified her in this movie, where she wasn't like that in other movies or anything else I've seen.
Pixar.
So, look at the Pixar mom, like Mrs. Incredible.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
like,
now you get.
Only watches a few. My kid only watches like Finding Nemo.
Okay, so no, she didn't remind me of a fish. No.
Like, yeah.
See, Jake know what I'm talking about. He knew what I was talking about when I said she's a Pixar mom.
Hey, I'm not gonna. Hey, I'm not gonna judge anybody who faps to ink. So hey.
Look, I saw a girl at Halloween dressed with Mr. Incredible. Chef's kiss. I want to bite it anyway. And we're back to the show. But yeah, that's all I gotta say about that. Like I said, awesome movie, loved it. Just a few nitpicks here and there. Metro Boomin, story structure at the end. That's pretty, and maybe a little bit more Mao centric stuff in there. Maybe a little bit. You know what? I can't even blame it because, like I said, the movie was pretty good. Because, like I said, I knew Evil Mao was going to show up. I knew he was in the wrong universe. I knew Uncle Aaron was going to show up. I knew his dad was going to die because, like I said, we've seen these multiverse. It was Back to the Future, Part 2. It was Back to the Future Part 2. That's what it was. Yeah, so we've seen this shit. But like I said, it's a multiverse stuff because we know how crazy the multiverse can get. I think you can't get too crazy. Like we read all these crazy comics. You can't go Crisis in Infinite Earths for Hollywood for the movie. Yeah. You can't do that.
I mean, I did like what Jake says of how each universe had its own style of
animation. That was awesome. That's another reason I give the movie credit for what it did. Spider-Punk had his own, Spider-Man India, the whole world had a different
and that's style. Another gripe. Me being into punk rock and metal, I wish there was an actual like cool punk song that went to his universe.
You didn't like Metro Boomin's punk song?
If that's who it was, then no. But like, I was reading that Spider-Punk comic that came out like last year and shit, and it was like Misfits references and Dead Kennedy's lyrics, and like, if you're into that music, you got all the references. But I did like the look, like when he showed up, the aesthetics of his, and that's what I love about these movies, especially the first one and this one. They take comic book art, the comic book aesthetics, and translates it into cinema. Mm-hmm. So, they're not just like the MCU. They just, sort of translate, they just, adapt the storyline. They're also taking comic book art and, making it into a movie.
Right. You can tell there was love and care put into this movie. That's why I love it. That's why I love it so much.
The Kirby dots, the panels, the word bubbles, and just the transitions. It was a living comic book, And you know how we are, we're as comic book readers, how our eyes sort of wander all over the page and shit,
Right.
And,
because a good comic art will draw you towards where it needs to take you to.
And then a good comic writer and layout will like basically make your eye track where it wants to go. If it's laid out great,
right.
The
like
words,
I said, for the people that know what they're doing.
Yeah. And they were doing that. They were basically translating comic book art into a film. And that's what I love about these movies,
Yeah, because they can do more than live action can do. Because they can just go balls to the walls like that and have them move in certain ways that live action just can't do. It can't do that. Yeah. Didn't they push back the release because they wanted to work more on animation?
I don't know.
I imagine because there was like a worldwide pandemic that happened, they pushed it back.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that has something to do with it. So,
but yeah, I mean, it was cool to see Spider-Punk with like the flyers, that punk rock art, that punk rock art aesthetic with the flyers.
Eli, you bring up a good point. I'm sorry, I got to knock Metro Boomin down even more because you brought up a good point. Okay, because like you said, they got all these Spider people in there. They got all these personalities. You got Spider-Punk in there. You got Spider-Man India in there. You got Gwen Stacy, and some people said that Gwen Stacy was in a punk band also.
Yeah, the
so
Mary
why
Janes.
didn't she have some punk music when she was doing her thing?
Yeah,
you know, the music sounded too universal for every character. Miguel O'Hara is from the future. Why didn't he have like some futuristic Mexican
EDM? Because what's her face? The Japanese spider with the spider bot in the first movie,
Penny Parker. I guess I think the name. I don't know.
She was she had some like EDM,
right?
Drum and bass. Right.
But everybody in this one, their own personal theme song sounds just like variation of the same theme song. They should have had Spider-Punk show up, have a punk song, and Spider-Man India have like some Indian Hindu music in the background, like that, and have Gwen have some newer punk music on it. Like the music should have been more varied if you're gonna have all these Spider people on there. Where just Metro Boomin just making the same beat, just a variation for everybody, And I think that does hurt the movie a little bit. Because it makes the movie have less personality with it. Even though the characters have all these personality, the screen have all the personality, the music didn't have the personality it should have had. I
mean, come on, the Ramones covered the Spider-Man theme song.
Right. They could have
and the Ramones were in the first in Homecoming.
Right.
He's listening because they were from Queens and Peter Parker's from Queens. So like,
that like a little nod to him. So
yeah, that was cool.
So okay, I think we talked about the movie enough. I think we've gone far enough. We got to slap a score on it. We got to put a score on it. So I'm gonna go first. Like I said, overall, like I said, awesome movie. I do think it's better than the first one. Well, I don't know.
I don't.
They're like this. They're like this. I can't really rate one on both. I do think the animation overall is way better than the first one, but I think the story structure of the first one is better. Like you can watch it and it's not all over the place. It's kind of more consistent. But I'm gonna slap a score on it. 4.5 out of 5. That's my score. Can't give it a 5. I know everybody's giving it a 5, but like I said, my nitpicks, they add up to enough that I gotta knock it a little bit. So
okay, I'll give it a 4 out of 5. And I loved it. I love it. Awesome fucking movie. But yes, I think the story structure, was a little lacking, and it didn't have that iconic "What's up, danger" moment.
That scene, right?
Yeah.
That scene,
I think the best scene, the scene that did that for me was when fucking Uncle Aaron had him tied up and he was playing "Ain't No Love." That was
right.
That was
like, it was
awesome.
a few iconic scenes in it. Yeah.
Yeah, that was cool. But then that was the end of the movie,
Right.
So it didn't have that big iconic moment for me, anyways. But I still had a great time. I still loved it. Yes, the animation is like now they're set up. Did you ever see that Intergalactic on Netflix yet?
I didn't see that.
It's a hip hop love story. It's the same kind of animation.
Okay. Did you see Puss in Boots: The Last Wish?
No.
Okay. The movie's awesome. I'm not even joking. The movie's awesome. It really is. But it has the same kind of animation with also like watch it reminds you of Spider-Verse.
Okay. Well, maybe I will check it out. But yeah. No, I loved it. I'll give it a 4 out of 5. It had, it was a blast to watch. I got some gripes, but I still loved it. I still love these movies,
Yeah. There we go. We have slaps going on. We have spoken, internet. Everybody else is wrong. We have said what we got to say. Eli made the movie. That movie is absolute bomb. What movie you talking about? Intergalactic or
Intergalactic?
Rocking Show. What movie you talking about?
Is it Intergalactic?
Jake, you got to give us some context clues.
Probably because who was it? The rapper. Fuck. Didn't they push back? Oh.
Oh, we already read that. Yeah. So, all right. Can we move on to the next part of the podcast?
Kid Capri, not Kid Capri. What's his name? Damn it! He's a newer rapper, and I'm not really into him. But
not Metro Boomin, right? Okay.
Because I'm old. Kid Cudi, that guy. Yeah.
Okay. I'm not.
It's a good movie, though, man. It's a good.
I'm not a Kid Cudi fan, man. I'm sorry.
But he does he's like the main character. He does the voice of the main character, and it's done the same.
You're not
the same. But it's like Spider-Verse without Spider-Man.
Okay, Kid Cudi making a non-Spider-Man movie without Spider-Man. Like, okay.
It's a good movie, though.
It probably is. It probably is. I sit down. I
got to
renew my Netflix.
It's on Netflix.
I got to renew my Netflix subscription anyway, so I'll watch it on there. All right. Let me say you can move on to the next part of the podcast.
Yeah, man.
Okay. We're not done with Spider-Man, but we are done with Miles Morales. We got some more Spider-Man coming up that I want to get deep into, because this is some controversial shit that happened, but we're gonna get into it. So Eli, I'm gonna let you go first, jump into it. Tell me what you got.
But I'm going first. You just said you were about to go.
Oh, I just set up build up.
Oh, you set me up to,
yeah.
and I get to let him. I get to disappoint
Word
him.
from our sponsors.
I get to disappoint him. Well, let's see. How about this?
Ooh, Eli, I got a book on here too. You're gonna hate.
Okay, I can't wait.
Oh, okay. Before you get into it, Eli, I gotta address this. Okay, here's the thing, Jake. I didn't buy Street Fighter 6 because I knew this week we were going to talk about Spider-Man, and I knew it was going to go longer than what it normally was. I know I'm going to have the time to like really just dig into Street Fighter. I need to sit down and get in there. It's going to take me the whole week to get in there. I don't want to just get it this weekend and just start playing. Like I'm not IGN, I'm not GameStop, where they just casually just play this shit. Oh, it's got world mode and shit like that. No, I got to get in there. Frame rate, combo system. I'm gonna let you know what it is. So when I get in there, when I do my Street Fighter review, you're gonna know what it is. So that's all I got it on that. Next week, I'm doing it next week. I promise. I know I've been saying that bullshit all the time, but I'm really gonna do it this time. So.
Okay, am I up now? Can I talk now?
Can I finish? Okay, I'm finished.
So I'm doing Clobberin Time number 3.
Is he naked?
He is. That there you go. This is the only reason to read this, to see
the money shot. Okay.
Ben Grimm's bare ass. His hard, firm, rocky cheeks.
Okay.
So this is what's his name? Steve Scroach. Awesome artist. He's writing and drawing this. He's great artist, and that's what's selling this story. It's basically the Thing having adventures with different heroes every issue. He had last issue was Wolverine. This one, the first issue was the Hulk. They travel. There's a villain who's got like a multiverse device where he can travel to different worlds, and he's chasing this guy through different worlds, trying to stop him. In this one, he teams up with Doctor Strange, and they travel to a world and fight, this guy and the various villains that he has. And it's just, again, the art is what sells it. It's great art. A lot of detail, a lot of it's like Jeff Darrow. You can tell he's influenced by Jeff Darrow. But yeah, he comes back after kicking ass. He comes back, and this is just right at the end. It's one of I think it's the last page where him and what's her name? Vanessa? Not Vanessa. Alicia. That's his name, right? Her name?
Alicia Manson, his wife. Yeah.
His wife. Yeah. They're chilling. They're having, they're doing their sweetheart time, and he's getting ready for bed, and
and they had sex and she's still alive.
Okay. he's chilling. You see him in the bathroom, so you get to see, the things.
I bet she looks like the Lincoln Tunnel down there. But...
So yeah, this is 4 out of 5. Just get this for the art. That's it. It's fun. It's just fun, stupid fun, and you get to. So yeah, we got to see Bat Dick. Well, now you get to see Ben Buns.
I guess it's okay. I didn't know I wanted to see it, but it exists now. We're here. I can't unsee it.
Yeah. So I'm going to leave this up for the rest of the show.
Scar all our listeners for life.
For y'all's viewing pleasure.
We got to see it, so you got to see it. Look at it. All right. So next book I'm going to do. Well, first book I'm going to do is the highly anticipated, highly controversial Spider-Man 26, or it's 25. What is this? I don't know what it is. The book where it's already been spoiled. The book where Miss Marvel dies. This is the book. They didn't want to spoil it, but because social media are a bunch of assholes, they spoiled it before Marvel could even did it. So Marvel went ahead and like, we're killing her in this book. And then it was some big controversy stuff like that. But I was like, I wasn't going to talk about it until we actually reviewed the book, because context is everything. We got into the context of it first before we just jump into it, because that's how shit rolls downhill. You don't know what's going on. You start just talking out your ass about stuff like that, and you don't know. So we're going to talk about it first, and then we're going to discuss about the controversy about Ms. Marvel dying in a Spider-Man book surrounded by people she don't even know. Meanwhile, her best friend, Miles Morales, is nowhere in this book. So let's get to it. All right. So, okay, so it starts off with Kamala Khan actually getting hired at Oscorp. The reason she got hired at Oscorp is because some time ago, 9 months ago, she saw Spider-Man going into Norman Osborn's lab, and she don't know why she's going to. So she's getting hired to Oscorp to see if Spider-Man is up to some supervillain shit. That's why she's getting hired there, you know. Plus, I think Oscorp is like New Jersey, some shit like that. But anyway, we're in New York, and basically that dude. Okay, so I finally know the name of that dude. His name is Rabin. That's the dude that's been after them the whole time. I never knew his name, but he's here now. He the emissary is what they call him. And Norman Osborn there now as the Golden Goblin, Golden Glider, whatever. He's a good guy now. Doesn't matter. He's like, okay, if this shitty ass villain wants to get
that's not canon.
It is now. So yeah. So like I said, the Golden Goblin, Golden Glider, whatever the fuck you want to call him. I don't know what you want to call him. Norman Osborn. He's there. He's like, don't worry, I'll protect you from this shitty ass villain that's about to show up. He's like, cool. And then Miss Marvel shows up. He's like, what the fuck Miss Marvel doing here? He's like, yeah, don't worry, I'll protect you too. And then not only that, so yeah, that's Rabin, the emissary, whatever you call him back. He's back, and he's like, I'm here to fulfill my God, way-ups, fulfillment. Because basically, if he kills Mary Jane, he becomes a god. That's his whole point he's trying to do. And he basically transforms himself into some kind of demon or whatever. Norman beats his ass. Kamala Khan beats his ass. Throw him into a wall and a car. And then he's like, oh, I was prepared for you all. And so basically, he built like some glyphs inside of Central Park. And out pops a dragon, because that's one of his powers. So a dragon is loose in Central Park, destroying shit. And now he's like, yes, now you have to fight the dragon so I can kill the Mary Jane, the Scarlet Woman. And then while that happened, that's when, oh yeah, they talk about Paul, everybody's favorite person, Paul. So they finally understand where Paul came from. So she's like, why was Paul in the alternate dimension? Why does he know so much about the alternate dimension? Why was he so calm in the alternate dimension? And they finally realized he's Rabin's son. His name is Paul something Paul Jeremiah Rabin. That's the name. So he's the son. So, and he was like, so you're a bad guy? What the hell? Like, and then he punched him in the face. But, you know, since Peter Spider said to go off, it didn't really cause him a threat. He basically like, okay, I'm going to give you a free one, Paul. Do this shit one more time. It's going to be some furniture moving in here, you know. But Mary Jane's just like, you know what? Don't worry about it. He told me back on the other dimension that he was old boy's son. So it's not a secret. It's a secret to you, but I know everything about Paul. Paul is a good man. And he's surrounded by his guilt. Peter sounds familiar. You know, so basically trying to make Paul and Peter all Peter and Paul. They were on the two sides of the same coin. So yeah. Yeah, anyway, so Rabin is going crazy. He's like, okay, so you know my son, but you don't know what else I've done. You're a kid. So he does some whammy jammy, and Mary Jane and Paul's kids disappear. Where they go? I don't know. Fuck them. So yeah, so now yeah, so he's like, yeah, I have taken your kids. He's like, you take my kids, I'm going to kill you, emissary. And so Mary Jane has power now because Paul built some kind of glove that does shit or whatever. Blasts him. He's like, yeah, I want you to do it. He basically wants Mary Jane to come back so he can kill him, you know. And that's when the Fantastic Four show up and they start throwing insults at Peter, like, Peter, you suck. What are you doing? You got this shitty ass villain here. And Peter's like, look, what you gonna do? Are y'all gonna insult me all day? Because they still mad about him still in the reactor for Norman. So you're like, y'all gonna shit on me all day, or you gonna fight the dragon? And Ben is like, man, we can do both. Because you suck, Peter, you know. And you're like, you should say thank you, Peter, since we're here to help you. You're like, okay, thank you. Now go fight the dragon while I go fight the emissary. And like, fine, we'll go beat up the dragon. So the emissary is there. He's like, okay, I'm about to kill Mary Jane. Before you do that, that's when Kamala Khan starts beating the shit out of him some more. And then and Spider-Man is just like, okay, Kamala Khan, protect Mary Jane with your life. Bad choice of words. You're like, run out of here before the emissary shows back up. And they're like, and they take off running. And basically Peter's just like, okay. And the Fantastic Four do some sciencey bullshit. They beat the dragon. Doesn't matter. He like do this shit that do mathematics and take the dragon out of his head. Anyway, Peter goes one-on-one with Rabin. picks up a parking pole and beat the Sonic coins out of him and keeps beating them. They're like, you're not touching Mary Jane, not getting anywhere near. They're like, no, I've seen the future Spider-Man. I'm already there. So he teleports out of there to Mary Jane. He's like, oh shit. So he chases after him, knowing he's after him. Like I said, big monster. They beat him. They do some weird shit, sciencey shit. Don't care because Reed always got to show he's the smartest person in the room. So he got to show Norman Osborn he's smarter than him. Anyway, so they're still fighting them. They back off while they're going. Kamala Khan stabs Mary Jane right there. She runs off. She's like, okay, whatever you do, stay where you are and don't stop running. So you run opposite direction, I go this opposite direction because he's looking for you. So as soon as Rabin shows up, he stabs her. Mary Jane is dead. Or is she? Because it turns out, so when he stabs Mary Jane, he thinks, now I'm going to ascend into a god. But the point is, he didn't stab Mary Jane, so the gods reject him and turn him into dust or some shit. Meanwhile, Peter's looking at Mary Jane like, Mary Jane, don't leave me. He's like, I'm not Mary Jane. He's like, I'm Kamala Khan. Because Kamala Khan has her shape-shifting powers. So she switched places with Mary Jane to make Rabin think it was Mary Jane, but it was really Kamala Khan. Kamala Khan didn't think about it because she also has healing powers, but that magic crowbar, whatever, like what that stabbed her, won't let her heal. So she's like, oh shit, like something's not right.
Doctor Strange to do some shit.
It could, but he's on house duty or some shit. I don't know, like that. Yeah. So anyway,
they'll do something. They'll figure something.
We know. We're gonna talk about it in a second because I have my theories. But yeah, so Miss Marvel didn't know Peter Parker was Spider-Man, so he took his mask off. She's like, Peter, I didn't know you were Spider-Man. Like, well, I don't need this anymore. Take a mask. So he's like, Kamala Khan. Wait, we work together. Like, yeah, I've been Miss Marvel the whole time. Like, oh shit. And she's like, stay with me, don't die. You're like, did I do good? You didn't do good, Camilla. You did great. And she like promised me whatever. And she fades out. That's it. Dead. And all these random ass motherfuckers who never even met her before, except for no Osborn, who she works for, who didn't even know who she was. They're just there. Yeah. Oh, and Mary Jane's kids have disappeared, so they cry with it also. And yeah, that is it. Paul's an asshole because
who's that? Who's that guy?
Paul, the most hated Spider-Man.
Oh, that guy. The guy in okay, yeah.
Yeah. The one everybody hates. Yeah. So Paul is there too. To witness Kamala Khan passing
and
away.
He comforts MJ.
Exactly. So yes, and the next book we'll see Kamala Khan as funeral for a friend or a fallen friend or some shit like that. So now let's talk about this. This is the controversy that happened. Now the thing is, I can't really rate or review this book properly because everybody on the internet is an asshole and spoiled the ending for me. Because I felt like they wanted it to be a shocker, like, oh, Mary Jane died. No, Kamala Khan died. They want to be a shocker, but it can't. Who's Paul?
Oh.
The most hated person of all time? he stole Mary Jane, banging her now, married her for like 4 or 5 years, while Peter is like, you know, pining after her. Oh, I just had a bagel and really hit the spot. Oh.
Yeah,
nice.
Waka waka wa. Thanks, Jarrell. Or what's your name?
I get it now.
You
okay.
get it?
Light bulb.
McFly. Hello, McFly. You get that?
I get it now. I'm sorry. It's early in the morning. Sorry. Yeah. So let's talk about this. So like I said, Kamala Khan died in a Spider-Man book. So we got to ask the obvious question. We got to ask the question that everybody's been saying. Is this fridging? Now, we got to talk about what fridging is because a lot of people don't know what fridging is. There is a trope in comics and comics alone called women in the refrigerators.
Was it Gail Simone? Who was it? Gail Simone who penned that?
Gail Simone coined the term women in refrigerators. Yeah. The term came from a Green Lantern comic. Green Lantern went to go fight a bad guy. The bad guy came back revenge, killed his girlfriend, and stuffed her in a refrigerator. So when Green Lantern came home, found his girlfriend in a refrigerator with a note saying, I found out where you live, something like that. So that's the women in refrigerators trope. Basically, the women in refrigerators trope is when the girlfriend or the wives or the mothers or the aunts or whatever like that suffer, die just for to propel the storyline of the main hero. That's what women.
It's usually a male. A woman dies to further the male story.
Right, and keep in mind, this is not the first time this happened. This is just like basically the camel that broke the hump's back. hump the broke camel's back, however that phrase goes, because this has been going on forever. Like we can talk about Gwen Stacy. Gwen Stacy is fridging when Green Goblin threw off a bridge. Barbara Gordon getting shot by Joker. Yeah. That's fridging.
I mean, the Punisher. I mean, it's a staple in a lot of movies, you know.
Right, just the girlfriend dying. But here's the thing, Eli. I'm here to say here that the women in fridges trope is bullshit. Just my opinion. Just my opinion. I'm
in
pretty
this story or
no, in general, just period. It's bullshit.
Okay.
It's not a thing. They made it a thing. It's victimization. Can I go into detail about it? I know it's controversial. I've got into it with Gomer a bunch of times. Okay. Because yes, we can talk about how Gwen Stacy died, and we can talk about how Barbara Gordon got shot and shit like that. Only propel the story of the main hero. I get that. But okay, so how come Barbara Gordon can get shot and that's fridging, but when Jason Todd can be with a crowbar, what is that? You know, when Gwen Stacy gets thrown off a bridge, that's fridging. But when Harry Osborn gets addicted to drugs and all kinds of shit like that, what happens with that? You know, so we can talk. Yeah, I'm just saying that we can keep bringing up situations about that where if you're a supporting character of the hero, fucked up shit is going to happen to you regardless of your gender. Male Alfred died. Alfred got his neck broken by Bane. Is that fridging?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's more about women's portrayal in these stories. You know that. There's no women in these stories, and the only purpose they serve is to die. So I think that's that's the concern.
That is true,
and that's why we got. But hey, that's why we encourage women writers to write stories.
Right, I get that, but I'm just saying that the men get fucked up in these stories also if they're supporting characters just as much. Like I think we're pointing fingers and we're drawing straws, but I think we're pointing a situation where it happens to everybody. So that's just me. That's just me. So
I mean, it is a predictable trope, though. You know, I mean, you know that. Yeah, it is. It's predictable, but
like people are saying that Aunt May in the last Spider-Man movie got fridged. You know, but Uncle Ben has been shot like 500 times. Like just in the last Spider-Verse movie alone, is that fridging? It's like we're picking and choosing, we're cherry picking. That's all I'm saying. So if you don't have powers, you're gonna get fucked up, basically. So that's one thing about that. So I don't think it's fridging. Plus, let's talk about what's gonna happen to Kamala Khan. Yes, she died. We all know what's going to happen. We all know she's gonna get resurrected by Krakoa. They're gonna find some mutant gene in her. She's gonna be resurrected.
Ain't she a mutant? Or no, she's an Inhuman.
She's an Inhuman. But in the Kamala Khan in the Miss Marvel show, the very last thing they did was reveal that she was a mutant.
But is that canon?
It is now. It will be. Canon can be whatever they want it to be. So that's what's going to happen. She's going to be reborn by Krakoa. They're going to find the mutant X gene in her. She's going to be reborn with her.
Or put one in her because can't fucking read. Do some. Didn't read.
He cut off his kids shit.
Yeah.
So he can put that shit in there if he wants.
Put the shit back. You know, he did that shit to his kids. So
yeah. And that's what I'm saying. She's going to be reborn with her MCU powers. That weird light shit, whatever. The stretchy shit that's gonna go away. So they're gonna make her more MCU. Yeah, they're gonna make her more MCU. Similar.
But I mean, it sounds like I didn't read this, so I haven't been reading this run. Mm-hmm. But it sounds like she sacrificed herself in a way, kind of, sort of. So
that's true, but she sacrificed herself in somebody else's book.
Yeah, but still, like
it wasn't like it was her. It wasn't like Death of Superman where she fought Doomsday for like 12 issues, and it wasn't like that.
Yeah, because I've seen a shitstorm on Twitter that let's kill off a fan favorite character to sell a book that not a lot of people are into. I mean, I'm not reading.
Right, but at the same time, you're killing off a minority brown character. So yes, I'm not saying Miss Marvel has a whole bunch of fans, but there are some fans of Kamala Khan. Like there's not a whole lot of brown teenage girl superheroes. So she does have her own significant fan base. So
the Middle Eastern descent. Yeah.
Right. So the one brown character you have, you're going to kill her off. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, some people are pissed off about that, even though we all know they're going to bring her back. This is not a permanent thing. And the funny thing is
it's not like Spider-Man came home and found her dead. you know,
that would have been super fucked up. That would have been straight up.
Yeah, I think that's what. I think that's
like not even a chance to defend herself. Like Batgirl when she got shot by Joker, she didn't. It wasn't like she was in a 1-on-1 fight. No, she just opened the door, bam, shot. That's it. So
it sounds.
So
like
you're right. She did on her own terms. So even then, it's not really. I don't know. It's borderline. It's borderline. Even though I said it's bullshit.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't read it, so I don't even know. But I'm just going by what I saw. I don't know. I don't know. But I mean,
but that's what happened. I mean, like I said, she sacrificed herself to save Mary Jane. You know.
Yeah.
So I don't know. But like I said, none of this man is going to come back. But at the same time, even though we know she's going to come back, she's going to have some bullshit X-Men powers and team of Wolverine shit like that. The fact that they did this cheap death in the Spider-Man comic, that still is cheap. That still is gimmicky. You know, in my opinion.
I mean, that's what's so, you know, what I liked, again, what I kind of liked about the Into the Spider-Verse, or what's it called, Across the Spider-Verse?
Yeah.
You know, is like no one died. You know, that it was a cliffhanger, and like, you know, they didn't kill off Gwen because at the beginning, remember in the beginning of the movie, like, oh, it doesn't end well for, you know, because Gwen Stacy dies. Are they
right? Because she always throwing off the bridge.
There was that moment. They were sharing a moment. I'm like, oh shit. Are they gonna kill Gwen? Is that how this movie's gonna fucking end? And that would have pissed me off because like that became like a trope. Like every TV show, you know, from Walking Dead and Game of Thrones, who's gonna die this episode? Who's gonna die this season?
And it's cheap. It's cheap. Like you're just killing people off. Honestly, that turned me off of Wakanda Forever. When they killed off the Queen Mother just for like no reason, just randomly just to get cheap, you know, emotions out of you. I'm like, I'm like, you're trying too hard.
Not like we're already feeling it going into that fucking movie.
Right. Now you pile on top of it. Like, how many funerals we gonna have in this movie?
No shit.
Right.
You know, so that's why it's cool. And then I haven't seen Guardians yet, but you told me no one dies in Guardians. I'm like, okay, cool.
Right.
You know?
No one dies in Guardian. It's emotion, not from cheap. It's emotion because it's just well-written characters. That's all. So, what do we got here?
I don't think they're gonna.
They won't. You know why? You know why? Because there's too much money in Spider-Gwen.
Oh yeah, and it just doesn't fit. It's like why kill her off in the third final triumphant act? You know,
right. That didn't make any sense whatsoever.
Yeah, that would be kind of stupid.
Yeah, even though they did kind of tease it because the way Gwen said it, like anytime Gwen gets with Spider-Man, it always ends badly. That's what she said. So like, are they foreshadowing or something?
Yeah, that's what
I don't think they're gonna do that. But
yeah.
It's too much money in Spider-Gwen to kill off. That's the thing.
Yeah, and plus you know, if they're listening to the outrage over this book.
Right. And those idiots on YouTube saw this shit. They having cake and ice cream now. Yes, we won. They killed off Miss Marvel. Like, come on, you assholes. You know they're gonna bring her back.
No, they're gonna say they fridged. Yeah, they're gonna say they fridged Gwen if they did that shit.
Right.
You know.
So all right. So that's all I got. So what you got next?
Oh, who's Paul?
Oh yeah, Paul sucks. That's all you need to know. So,
I guess I'll do Aliens.
Now, like I said, the next book I do, you're gonna hate.
Okay. So Aliens Thaw #2. This is the new Alien arc. Marvel's got, you know, Marvel's new Alien comics that they've been doing. This is the new storyline. It's called Thaw. So basically, there's a family working for this small company on an ice planet, and they are harvesting water because it's the future, and you know, natural resources are hard to come by. So they're on an ice planet, you know, getting water because water is life. They discover aliens frozen in the ice. The daughter finds a face hugger and secretly keeps it. They end up contacting their boss, and the boss contacts Weyland-Yutani, who comes and basically takes over the rock operation. Weyland-Yutani is the big evil corporation that exists in the alien mythology. So they come over and say, okay, we own this site. We bought your company and we own your site. We're taking over this dig. And so in this issue, it's basically the new corporation. There's new workers. It kind of reminds me of The Thing, of John Carpenter's The Thing. They're on an ice planet. it's it's all icy in the winter, and they're isolated on the space. They discover the aliens, but then they're also looking for the girl because she took off. So basically, in the last issue, when the company took over, the husband, like, no, we're not selling our company, and they basically arrested him and threw him in jail. And now in this issue, the wife is like refusing to give up all her research. There's like a scene where the guy's like, hey, we own all your research. You have to tell us. You're withholding. We can arrest you and brought on charges if you don't share your research with us because we own your company and blah, blah, blah. So there's that theme of corporate takeover, you know what I mean? Fucking over small businesses and basically trying to exploit natural resources. So there's a bit of environmental conservation theme going on here. But at one point at the end, the girl gets captured by a couple of workers. Hey, we found the girl. And then they find the face hugger that is now thawed out in her backpack. And the face hugger jumps on the guy's face, impregnates him. He ends up giving birth, whatever, to a chest burster.
A healthy baby chest burster.
And yes, and then at the end, this is the last page where some of the alien they've been digging, they're starting to thaw out too because they've been digging into this ice. So now there's this big alien hive that's frozen and they're thawing out too. So shit's about to pop off. So I thought this was pretty cool. The art continue. These books have cool art, and I'm into aliens, and it's cool to see new alien stories. So I give it a 4 out of 5. I'm still on it. I've been surprisingly on these books. I was skeptical about Marvel taking over aliens.
Well, and I mean, do you think it's gotten better because they have their own imprint now?
Well, I think they are writing pretty interesting stories. I was a little iffy about this whole alpha alien and that that they were designing whatever the fuck. They still haven't really done anything with that storyline, but it is following the traditional Dark Horse scenarios where you're just getting new alien stories with new alien characters. I mean, the only reoccurring characters are the aliens. You're just getting these new stories, so it's pretty cool. I dig them. So 4 out of 5.
All right, Eli, you ready?
Sure.
Okay. The book that you hate.
The book that I hate.
We're gonna do it.
Okay.
Boom.
I don't know what this is. Oh. I haven't read any of these yet.
I know you haven't.
I'm probably gonna read them on Marvel once they all drop. So.
Well, here's the thing. This is the final issue.
That's what I hear. Yeah.
This is the final issue of it. So this is done, and we're going to see the final fate of the Punisher. This is Punisher No More. So, like I said, I haven't read any of this stuff either. I read like the first issue and this. Everything in between, I have not read. All I know is that in between, he rode a dragon. He had a Hell Army fight Daredevil. Who Daredevil also had a Hell Army fight them. And that's all I know. That's it. Both of them had superpowers. He's got superpowers in this book. And there you go. So let's start where we go. So the book ends. Like I said, this is the last issue. It's 12 issues. Last issue after this, the book is done. And we will find out the final fate of the Punisher. Let's go. All right. So the book opens up with Punisher bleeding out on the ground. So let me catch you up what's happening. They gave me a little blurb at the beginning of it, kind of letting know what happened. Remember, they resurrected his wife, right? Okay. Yeah. So his wife had amnesia the whole time throughout this book. But eventually she got her memory back about what it was before she died. And it turns out she was about to divorce Frank before she died.
Oh, yeah. That was in Punisher Born. That's part of like
so that's canon. That is continuity.
Run. Yes, yeah.
Interesting. Okay, I thought Jason James just pulled the shit out of his ass. I'm glad.
Punisher Born, where it's like basically says that Frank Castle always had those violent tendencies. When he went to Vietnam and then he came back from Vietnam, and that's when his family got killed. But he was, because he was angry. He was,
You might not hate this book, then, Eli. But that will happen right now. So basically, his wife was going to divorce him, and now that his wife is alive, she found out that he's basically the biggest mass murderer in history. She shot him, but like I said, he has superpowers now, so she shot him with like magic bullets, to put him down. put 2 in his chest. So he's bleeding out on the ground right now. And he's reaching for his gun, and that's when that ninja priestess shows up and shit like that. She's like, damn, Frank.
This is the hand, right?
This is the hand. He's leader of the hand, but she's like the second in command of the hand that, you know, brought him in. And now she's like, you fucked up, Frank. You did 2 things. Oh, and he fought the Avengers like in like issue 11 or some shit like that. They came after him because he basically leading a ninja assassin crew. So, and she's like, you fucked up, Frank. You didn't do what you're supposed to do. You didn't, first off, you didn't kill, they sent him to kill a boy. I think they sent him like to kill a boy, like for his last mission to ascend to whatever shit. But he don't kill kids. That's like Frank's rule. He don't kill kids. So they're like, you got to kill who we tell you to kill. And you didn't kill the Avengers. They came after you. You could have killed them. You kicked their ass with your superpowers that we gave you, but you didn't kill them. So that's twice you fucked up. Now you bleed on the ground because you got shot by your wife. So you're not the person we thought you were, Frank. And then she used her octopus powers to grab the gun that Frank was about to use to kill her. And she's like, well, I'm disappointed in you, Frank. And what happened? And she was like, okay. And Frank's like, you know what? You think it's over, but I still got a little bit of that superpower, beast power in me. And then he uses his beast powers and he telekinetically blows up the gun in her hand. And so she flies out of there.
Wait. Punisher has beast, or what? Who has beast powers? Punisher?
Yeah.
Has beast powers?
Okay. He's got like dark god power. He just says he prays to the beast or some shit like that.
Okay.
We don't know what the beast is. Now, I thought the dark guy he was praying to was Ares, but Ares never's been that damn powerful in these books. Like the Ares was an Avenger. So apparently it's some other dark guy he's praying to.
It's No.
Or whatever the fuck it is. Yeah. But he just calls it the beast. That's what he just calls
No
it.
is coming.
Right. So he prays to whatever dark guy he did, blows the gun up in her face telekinetically. She flies out of there. Then the Avengers show up, kick the hand's ass, and they see Frank bleeding out of the ground. They're like, Frank, you know. We get a flashback when he goes to Fat Mac's social club. This is the day of the funeral of when he buried his wife and kids. And he's in there, he's just drinking away and shit like that. And the bartender says, I know you just came from a funeral, but you're going to go into another funeral if you get the hell out of here, because Thursdays is the day the family eats. And like, I know who the family is. And I know this is a mob bar. And like, you don't know shit. So you better get the hell up out of here because you talking too crazy in front of us right now. And Frank's like, I wanted you guys to get close to me. And he reaches in his pocket and bam, 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 bam. Yeah. Goes all Punisher. Exactly. Goes all Punisher on him. You know, this is how he relieves stress after the funeral. So yeah. So he wakes up in Doctor Strange's basement in the Sanctum Sanctorium. They mystically chained him and shit like that. Basically, the reason he was able to heal from his bullet wound because he still has some more beast, dark god powers and shit in him left in him. But Doctor Strange tells him all your dark god powers you have, like the last 12 issues, they're gone. You completely expended them. So you're human again now. But we mystically change you up just in case you do some weird shit. So you're in the bottom of my basement. You can't escape. You escape, you're going to wind up in another crazy ass dimension. So you're stuck here. You can't go anywhere. And basically, Strange is like, man, what are we going to do with you, Frank? And Frank's just like, look, man, you got 2 options. You either leave me in your basement for the end of days until, you know, the apocalypse comes, or you send Wolverine down here and handle your business. That's your 2 options right now. He's just like, man, I can't you right. So he leaves him down there, and basically the Avengers come in one at a time, and they have a private conversation with him. The first Avenger is, of course, let's just get to it. Wolverine. Wolverine go to it. He's just like, say it, Frank. Just say it. Give me a reason not to kill you right now, Frank. Tell me that the hand brainwashed you. Tell me they seduced you with your wife like that. Tell me something to make me not stab you in the face right now. And Frank's like, no, whatever you want me to tell you, bub? No, that I was brainwashed, that I was coerced? No, none of that shit. I killed everybody. I liked it. Hell, I loved it. I'd do the shit again. You know, so he has no remorse.
It's like when Ghost would Ghost Rider. He told Ghost Rider.
Yeah, Ghost Rider should have been here now, and that's the thing. So basically, that's what Black Widow is trying to tell her. Like, yeah, okay, Frank, you're a killer. I'm a killer. Wolverine's a killer. The difference between you and me and Wolverine is that me and Wolverine know the fucked up shit we did. We're trying to repent for the fucked up shit we did and all the people we killed. You don't give a fuck. You're happy about the people you kill. You don't have no remorse for anything you've done. And that's the problem. You're like, I thought we were friends. You're like, no, we're not friends. I'm a weapon. You have used me, and she has used me just for your own benefit and tossed me aside whenever you need to. So don't act like we're friends, Black Widow. We're not.
Oh, snap.
Yeah. So, and your boy.
You what did Loki say? You lie and kill.
Yeah, you lie and kill in the service of liars and killers. Basically saying shit he do it right there. Then Moon Knight comes in and hits me shit like that. He just looks at it. He was like, Frank, look, man, I understand. I get it. You know, you suffer trauma because your wife and kids died in Central Park right now. And you went out and you got your vengeance and you handled it. But at some point, some people would go, you know what? I've done enough. I've killed enough people.
Seriously?
Moon Knight is saying that. Yeah, Moon Knight is
this guy.
Right.
This crazy motherfucker is going to talk to this psychotic fucking
okay,
psychopath.
that's the same shit when Batman talks to the Joker. So that's what he says. He was like, see, he like basically trying to say, like, Frank, I understand you to a point. But the problem is you're the biggest mass murderer in human history. At some point, you would have had enough killing. But you've killed damn near everybody you can find. So at some point, when it get to a point that you're just using your wife and kids as an excuse, that's that shit that you just said Garfinch used. So yeah, and of course Punisher just doesn't say anything to Moon Knight. He be like, "Get the fuck out of my face, Moon Knight." Matter of fact, I think he sleep. I think he falls asleep with Moon Knight talking. And Moon Knight like, "Good talk, Frank," and then just leaves. Yeah. And so we cut to another thing. So basically, Punisher is going on his killing spree. So Punisher has killed, like, this is a flashback. He's basically killed everybody associated with his wife and kids' murder except for one guy. One guy is left. And this guy is going to the gas chamber anyway. He's headed to the gas chamber right now. Not for killing Frank's kids, but for like some other bullshit, like some other crime that had nothing to do with Frank's kids. It is like a technicality, some shit. And Frank, and so he's going to the gas chamber.
Paulie Walnuts from Sopranos.
That's exactly. I think they did it on purpose. Yeah, he like kiss my Guido ass, you know. But Punisher like, not on my watch. So even though the guy is headed to the gas chamber, Punisher breaks into the jail to come get this guy, and they thinking, oh, somebody's about to break this guy out. They're like, no, he's not breaking out. He's breaking in. So, and then next thing, boom, breaks open the door, and Punisher, you know, goes right for the guy. And basically, this is the guy that like put the bullet in his daughter's abdomen that made her bleed to death. And even though Punisher knows the guy's about to go to the gas chamber anyway, and if he would have just chilled and relaxed, the guy was going to die anyway. But Punisher's like, nah, fuck that. I'm going to kill him. I'm going to put a bullet in his head. No, the justice system is not going to handle this guy. So, yeah, and he just walks out, and that's it. So, and Punisher is just looking, and now he's talking to Steve Rogers. Oh, no, his wife. Yeah, his wife is here. So his wife is here talking to him. His wife is basically telling him the same shit that Moon Knight said. You have been using me as an excuse to kill all these people. You knew for a fact, Frank, that day that I died in the park and the day our kids died in the park, that I was about to leave you. You knew that. And you just using all this bullshit as an excuse right now. But really, we were gone from your life long before that. And it's all because of you. So stop using me as an excuse. I sold your house. I sold all the what's that dude's name? Microchip. I sold all his shit. I took all your money, and I donated all of your money to charities in our kids' names. The shit you should have done when we died. And I'm leaving. I'm taking the rest of half of the money, and I'm leaving. And I'm never seeing you again. And I don't know what. And basically, Frank, whatever they do with you, just stay dead. Don't ever find me again. And she leaves. So. That's it. So we finally get to, and I think Frank prays to the Dark God. Yeah, he prays to the Dark God one more time. In the name of the beast, hear my prayer, you son of a bitch. Crumb. You know. So the Avengers.
I'll do it myself.
So the Avengers about to hand down the sentence. Like, Frank, we finally know what to do with you, about to hand down the sentence. And Frank's like, nah, y'all not going to hand down the sentence to me. I'm going to hand down my own sentence. And he prays to the beast one more time, basically uses the bullets that his wife shot him with. And he like, beast, blah, blah, blah. And he is gone. And it's just like, is he dead? And Doctor Strange like, no, I don't sense his energy like anywhere. He doesn't exist on this plane of existence anymore. And like, is he dead? Like, no. The Punisher is no more. Dun, dun, dun. So we cut to some random kid that chopped up his parents and shit like that, and he's writing on there, God bless the beast and shit like that. And that evil priestess shit like that is basically recruiting him, whoever it is. So we cut to Frank's wife. She got a bag full of money, bag full of cash, and a pregnancy test that is positive. Yep. As she's leaving New York City, and some other shit. And yeah, the beast is there. Fuck all that shit anyway like that. So yeah, the end. Or is it?
Or is he going to
epilogue?
Doesn't he become Cosmic Ghost Rider or some shit?
Eventually, in some kind of timey-wimey future. But we cut to Weird World. Now, if you don't know what Weird World is, it's weird. It's an alternate dimension. It's one of Marvel's many alternate dimensions. That's where Frank went. He teleported himself to Weird World. So he's in an alternate dimension right now. And there is a war going on in Weird World right now. But the thing is, Frank is avoiding that war. So he's like, if the war is going on in the East, I'm going to go to the West. There's some kids here. I'm going to rescue these kids. I'm going to take them to a safe spot. And I'm just going to make sure that they find shelter. So basically, wherever there is fighting, he's going the opposite way. And the kids ask him, what's your names, sir? He's like, Frank. My name is Frank. The end. So, yeah.
That's not bad. That's not a bad. Punisher, he's a killing, mass murdering psychopath, but he does have a code,
Well, no, it seems like he's given up the code. It seems like he's done.
Yeah, but he's always protected kids. I mean, he does, he does have a good side. There is a good in him, but
right. He's protected. But the point is, like, there's fighting and shit going over here, and he could go this way and go fuck some people up, but he decided to go the other way. Yeah. So it's like he's become a pacifist now.
Yeah.
So that's what it's like. We know where it's coming from. Wait, the Vinny? You mean beat his ass? Yeah. Because we know what this is about, Eli. We know what this is about. The Punisher has become problematic because of certain individuals. Mm-hmm. So Marvel is trying to bury him under the rug. Not because the thing is, Jason Aaron put a disclaimer in there. He was like, yes, my Punisher story is over, but the Punisher story will never end. That's what he said. And I didn't read it, but that's what he said in there. Yeah. So basically, Marvel is basically like, Punisher, cool your heels for a while, chill in an alternate dimension until the heat dies down and these crazy ass people, kind of forget about you for a while. Then you pop up and kill some motherfuckers. But for right now, we need you to chill.
I mean, yes. Punisher got popular in the 80s because of
Vigilante
Rambo. Yeah. Schwarzenegger movie, the one-man army. Those movies were popular. Because before before that, Punisher was just a stupid Spider-Man villain, or he popped up in Daredevil. He's a kind of a, but once, Rambo and Commando and all these, Chuck Norris and Steven Seagal, the one-man guy who kicks an army's ass by himself, those movies were popular in the 80s. So Marvel's like, hey, we got a guy that does that. And that's when the Punisher was born. Then he got popular because those movies were popular.
Right, because vigilante justice was popular in the 80s.
Yeah, just a
guy. Because the thing was, there was a story of a real life dude that was a vigilante, like going on and shooting people that was robbing people and stuff like that.
Well, yeah, but
I gotta finish that. It turns out this vigilante was racially motivated. Everybody he shot was black people, and they may or may not have been robbing people. So, yeah.
But they basically wanted Commando. They were doing a Rambo or Commando. Schwarzenegger, Stallone. Where he's got a machine gun and he mows down an army of bad guys. That's all they were trying to do. But yes, as time went on, and
we started looking at the justice system,
social issues that we have right now. That he can be a
police brutality became a hot thing.
The white man with the gun, yes. And now he's
going to the hood, mowing down people, serving justice his way.
Yeah.
We've talked about this on this podcast so many times.
Yeah. The Punisher's been appropriated by people that idolize him and,
white supremacists. Let's just say it. Let's not beat around the bush.
But what makes him an interesting character is the fact that, yes, he is sort of a compared to other heroes, he does point out hypocrisy. And that's what
Right.
I like. I mean, I think it wasn't until Garth Ennis sort of took him and kind of gave him some more depth,
Right.
And got to the
because
nature.
the thing is, people misunderstand Punisher. You're not supposed to idolize the Punisher. You never were supposed to idolize the Punisher. You were supposed to look at this character. You can enjoy his stories. You can have fun with stories. But you're supposed to look at him like this is a fucked up individual.
Yeah.
There's something wrong with this guy, but I can still enjoy your story. You're not supposed to look up to him like, man,
I mean, you're not supposed to take it seriously.
You're not supposed to. That's the thing.
The Max and, Punisher Max, like I said, the Garth Ennis, Dylan run, they were cheesy and like the violence is so over the top and cartoony. It's hilarious.
Right.
And that's why I love Warzone, the Punisher Warzone movie, because it's so stupidly funny. They blow up parkour guys, and
right.
It's so dumb that you just gotta laugh. And Punisher is just a ridiculous character. Yeah, you're not supposed to idolize this.
Right. But I think that's the problem with people. Interacting with stories in general. I think a lot of times people miss the point that they think that the protagonist is always right, which is not the case. And sometimes, like the writers and the people that write stories, they do it on purpose. They want you to think that the protagonist is right. When in the other hand, they know that the protagonist is an asshole.
Yeah.
So, then you just lost the white supremacist.
We lost them a long time ago.
Sorry, we lost them a long time ago. We lost them the moment they clicked on this podcast. Like, fuck no.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's an anti-hero, and he's born out of like the Clint Eastwood West, those spaghetti westerns.
Right.
They're not good guys; they're just kind of bad guys that are kind of profiting off of the corruption of the environment.
Right. I mean, the thing is, the way those spaghetti were drawn, like there are no good guys and bad guys. It's just who you're following at the right time, because in the right situation, they're the same. They're fighting the same people.
Like Clint Eastwood, he's a hero in all his movies, like the Man with No Name, like the Dollars trilogy, but he could easily be a villain in another movie because he's a criminal.
Like I said, he's a former Confederate soldier.
Yeah, he's a criminal just out for money, robbing and stealing, just like the other guys that are robbing and stealing, and
like the Last of Us. We talking about the Last of Us. Like if you watch the Last of Us all the way through, you will realize this guy you were rooting for the whole time might be the villain, the real villain, but you don't know that because you watch it because he's basically doing villain stuff, and it's just that you're just following somebody that's just going through what he thinks is right. That doesn't mean it's right. He's doing what he thinks is right. He's doing whatever he thinks is right for the situation. But at the end of the day, he's doing whatever he can to survive. So, but that doesn't make him a good guy. That just means he's a protagonist. So protagonists, good guy are not always the same thing, and they don't have to be the same thing. Tony Montana is not a good guy.
No. So, in fact, the best gangster movies they're basically tragedies.
Right. Yeah. You're not supposed to idolize the guy. That's the reason these movies end in tragedy, because they want them to be cautionary tales.
Yeah.
And not just those type of gangster movies. Boys in the Hood, Menace to Society. You're not supposed to idolize O-Dog.
Yeah. Message.
Right.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, as far as this story, I wasn't interested in ninja superpowered Punisher. That was just me.
Right.
I mean, he had the Iron Man said he was War Machine, but that War Machine is kind of a military weapon. And
right.
Frank is a military guy. He's there's a sort of gritty realism. I'm not that it's real, but you know what I mean? Right.
Plus War Machine got guns and shit on him. So
I mean, I didn't expect, it was just the nature that it was all he doesn't have superpowers. That's what makes him interesting. And that's why I was like, whatever. I didn't
Fast
follow.
Family
I'll
good
give it a
guys.
look.
That is a good question, Jake, because like I said, they were not at first. Like I said, the whole thing, they were bandits that were robbing like DVD trucks and shit like that.
Yeah, they were robbing and stealing with cars.
Now, if you want to look into a deeper meaning of the Fast and Furious movies, like from 6 and on, like I said, they are black op mercenaries, and they are bad guys, but the government, the agency, the United States, are using them to basically wash their hands of whatever mission that they send them on. So that way, if something does happen to them, they can say, we didn't do it. These guys that drive cars did it, So at the end of the day, it's basically Suicide Squad. You know, the
Basically, it
government just
sounds right,
outsourcing the stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
So actually, Dom Toretto is not a good guy, even though he does have a code. Family. Oh yeah. Anything else we got to add or?
Well, I just got this Spider Rex book.
Oh yeah, that's okay.
I just read it real quick just because of the Spider-Man movie.
Okay.
And he had a little cameo in it.
He did. One of the villains of the movie.
Yeah. So he does exist. He is comic book accurate. So and I just found out this just came out last year. So he's recently. Yeah, this is like from 2022.
Oh,
so that's how recent Spider Rex is. And I didn't read this because I was reading Jurassic League. Which is kind of sort of the same thing. It's
kind of the same thing, yeah.
Dinosaur versions of superheroes. This is a dinosaur.
Hell, Dark Knight's Metal had a dinosaur Batman.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, I gotta explain that one for people that don't know what we're talking about, because the dinosaur robot that's in Batman's Batcave, somehow Batman put his consciousness into that dinosaur robot, and that dinosaur became Batman. And he is still trying to figure out how to throw a batarang with his tiny dinosaur arms.
So
but because he's Batman, he'll figure it out.
Yeah. So this is basically dinosaur versions of Spider-Man. A comet falls to Earth with alien spiders on it and bites Peter, or is it just Tur? So it's spelled PTR. You know how like pteranodon or pterodactyl is spelled?
Right,
but
with
the P is silent.
Yeah.
But the P is silent. It's Peter.
Yeah. Peter.
Yeah. Peter or just Tur. I don't know. Tur. Petarker. Petarker is a dinosaur who gets bit by these alien spiders from a comet. And he gets into a fight with Normanosaurus. And he bites him, and then he gets like Green Goblin Pteranodon powers, and they just fight. And at one point, the Spider Rex defeats Normanosaur or whatever. By webbing them up, but then the tree branch breaks because they're in the trees. The tree branch breaks and it falls on some innocent people, on some innocent dinosaurs. Sorry, it kills a couple of dinosaurs when the branch falls. So at first, Spider Rex was like, "Hell yeah, I beat the bad guy. I'm Spider Rex," and then the branch broke, fell on some innocent bystanding dinosaurs, and then Spider Rex says, "Okay, I have to be responsible with these powers," and that's where it ends. So it's just the origin of Spider Rex, who had a cameo in the new Into the Spider.
Because I dealt like I said, I'm pretty good on my spider knowledge, but the dinosaur, I was like, "Is that a thing?" So I'm glad you broke it down for me.
There you go.
Okay.
So
because I was gonna do Spider-Man 2099, I was gonna do the first issue, but maybe I'll do it later. I don't know. So
this is just like a 10. It's like because those Spider-Verse books are like, I think 3 10-page stories. They're like short stories. This is like 10 pages. With different those Spider-Verse the Spider-Verse comics are basically all bios of all the characters you see in the movies.
Right. So I'm saying, so everybody, if they go in detail, they did not make them up for the movie. They have deep history. So like I've seen somebody say like, "Man, Spider-Punk is awesome, man. They need like a comic of him." Like, well,
he appeared in the Spider-Verse, and then he got his own series, which I read a couple of. I did read a couple of those books.
Like I said, every Mayday. Matter of fact, Mayday was in that Tom Taylor book, the one with they turned the electricity off and shit like that. She was in that. Yeah, I
remember that.
Yeah. So like I said, all these characters have history. So,
but that the beginning of Across the Spider-Verse, where Gwen is jamming in the band, and she's
the Mary Jane,
off, that's right out of the comic.
The Mary Jane,
right out of it. That scene is it's scene for scene and almost line for line right out of the comic.
Peter was the lizard. Yeah, all this from the comic.
Yeah.
Is it me or did Mary Jane look like Zendaya on that?
I don't remember. Oh, in the movie or the book?
No, in the movie.
I don't know. I got to see. I got to.
It looked like. I don't
know if I was looking at her.
Yeah, because I look at Mary Jane. I'm like, she looked like this Zendaya. I see what the movie is doing because they show Mary Jane later on. Really, Mary Jane like Mary Jane, but there in that band, she looked like Zendaya. So I like, okay, movie. You throwing some stuff at us. The Spider-Verse movie. This movie you're gonna have to freeze frame. There's a lot of stuff I feel like.
Oh yeah, it's gonna require multiple.
Yeah, it's a lot of stuff they just threw in it. Yeah,
there's so much to see. So
yeah, even like little stuff like when Miles failed Spanish and his mom got mad at him and she snapped at him and they said like we snap you like you freeze frame you can see like the Puerto Rican flag.
Oh really?
Yeah, like little stuff like that. So yeah,
it's crammed like with Spider-Rex. They got Spider-Rex in it. It's a book. 3 out of 5.
So yeah. Anything else we got or?
No, I'm booked out. Damn, we went. It was a light week on comics, but this is like an epic ass show. We went
right. We didn't talk about that. We squeezed in comics as much as we could. Yeah. So, like I said, it's last week of the month. So normally last week of the month, like shitty comics anyway. That's why we read Spider-Man 26 and shit. So yeah. Next week, we will talk about. I will talk about Street Fighter. I promise. I guarantee it. Put the stamp on it. I will record some gameplay. Post it, so what I think about it, give a quick review of it, and then move on with it. So I will buy the game and go from there. Anything else you got to add or?
No.
Cool. All right. Join us next week. We'll find some more bullshit to talk about. Until then, this is Leroy.
This is Eli.
Talk to you guys next week. Same bullet time.